parachute off the top of Mount Everest. I mean, think about it. You go through this incredibly grueling, dangerous climb to the summit. Why not take the express elevator down? It seems like it would save a ton of time and energy and avoid the treacherous descent, which is where many accidents happen. Well, the reality is a lot more complicated and, frankly, a lot more dangerous than you might think. So let's break down the science and the sheer audacity of what it would take to even attempt a base jump from the roof of the world. First up, let's talk about the air, or rather, the lack of it. At 29,032 feet, the summit of Everest is in what's known as the death zone. The air pressure there is only about 1/3 of what it is at sea level. This thin air is a huge problem for two reasons. For you, the jumper, it means extreme hypoxia. Climbers spend days acclimatizing and use supplemental oxygen, but even then, they're operating at their absolute physical and mental limits. Making the complex, split-second decisions required for a safe parachute deployment would be incredibly difficult when your brain is starved of oxygen. You're exhausted, cold, and your cognitive function is severely impaired. Not exactly the ideal state to be in when you're about to jump off a mountain, but the thin air is an even bigger problem for the parachute itself. A parachute, or a wingsuit, works by creating drag and lift. It needs to push against air molecules to slow your descent. When there are far fewer air molecules to push against, the parachute is drastically less effective. You would fall much, much faster for a lot longer before the canopy could even begin to slow you down. This is called a high-speed opening, and it can be violent enough to cause serious injury or damage the equipment. You'd need a much larger parachute to compensate, which brings us to our next point, the gear. A standard base jumping rig is already cumbersome. Now, imagine trying to carry that, plus a larger canopy, all the way to the summit of Everest. Climbers are obsessed with weight. Every single ounce matters. They cut their toothbrushes in half to save a few grams. Adding an extra 20 to 30 pounds for a parachute system is just not feasible. You'd be burning precious energy and oxygen that you desperately need just to survive the ascent. And where would you even put it? You're already bundled in a massive down suit with a heavy oxygen tank on your back. There's simply no practical way to carry the necessary gear without compromising your ability to climb safely. Okay, let's say you're a superhuman who can carry the gear and your brain works perfectly at that altitude. You're standing on the summit, ready to jump. Now you face the weather. The jet stream, a high-altitude river of air, often blasts the summit of Everest with winds exceeding 100 miles per hour. These are hurricane-force winds. Even on a so-called calm day, the wind is unpredictable and can pick up in an instant. Jumping into that kind of wind is a death sentence. It would either slam you back into the face of the mountain or send your canopy into an uncontrollable spin. The landing is also a nightmare. You're not aiming for a big, flat, grassy field. You're trying to land somewhere in the Khumbu Icefall or the Western Khum, which are chaotic landscapes of shifting glaciers, deep crevasses, and jagged rocks. A soft landing is pretty much impossible. So, has anyone ever done it? Yes, but not from the true summit. In 2013, Russian daredevil Valery Rozov made a record-breaking base jump from the north face of Everest. But he jumped from an altitude of about 23,688 feet, a full 5,000 feet below the summit. It was an incredible feat of planning and skill, requiring a specially designed wingsuit and years of preparation. But it highlights just how difficult the challenge is. He had to find a specific ledge, wait for a rare window of good weather, and he still jumped from well below the peak. The combination of thin air, extreme cold, unpredictable winds, and heavy gear makes parachuting from the very top of Mount Everest a challenge that is, for all practical purposes, impossible and far more dangerous than climbing back down. It's a cool idea, but the mountain always has the final say. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, give this video a like and subscribe. From me, Remy, and the team in Moments of Peace. Until next time, you take care.